Hello everybody and welcome back to the Creative Challenge in Adobe Illustrator. Today I'm gonna show you how to create a monogram using fonts, transforming it into shape, and then adding and having fun with more simple shapes and using the shape builder in Adobe Illustrator. So welcome everybody. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure to head on behance.net/live. That's where we're going to keep my eyes on the chat and where you can participate to these amazing challenges. So welcome everybody that is here with me. It's time to jump right into the file. As every challenge, we have a starter file. Just scroll down in the description and you will be able to download the starter file for this specific challenge. So let's jump into Illustrator. Fantastic. And here we are. So as I said, throughout this beautiful month, March, that's Women History Month, I celebrate together with all the talented women here at Adobe Live any specific and particular inspiration that is for me throughout my life in terms of women that made history. And today we're gonna be focusing on Sian Proctor. I hope that I pronounced her name right. If you go ahead to the started file, I have not placed her name correctly. I'm so sorry. It looks like my ringtone is keep going on my watch. I don't even know how to turn it off. Hopefully I turn it off. Yes. Sorry for that. And let's keep going here with this wonderful Sian Proctor. I wanted to make sure to give her a big shout out. So I'm just going to jump real quick into her website so we get her name correctly. Here it is. She's a geology professor and space explorer, geoscientist explorer. Make sure to go and check her out. She's really, really inspiring. So today we're going to be creating our monogram focused on her wonderful life, and she's going to be our inspiration with the design as well. In order to get started, we are also following the 36th day of type. Today letter is letter D. You can export every time that we exported these challenges with 36 days of type. You can just simply publish them on your Instagram. The size of the artboard is already at 1080 by 1080, which is the standard resolution for an Instagram post. If you wish to see the size of your artboard, you can use the shortcut Shift-O in order to access the artboard tool. And if you select the artboard, you can see its dimensions inside the properties panel. Here on the top right, you'll see width and height is 1080 by 1080. Aspect ratio is 1:1, and 1080 by 1080 is the recommended size. And then you can also, once you select the artboard, press the return or enter key in order to access the artboard options. And in the artboard option, you will be able to edit as well as just explore all the different options of your artboard. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and press on OK. We didn't make any changes. We're just exploring the starting point. And again, the next thing that we're going to be doing here is to press the letter T in order to access our type tool. And then I'm gonna click once in order to add a point type. As you can see, the text is very tiny, so let's jump real quick into the properties panel and make it bigger. We know already that the size of the artboard is 1080 by 1080, so we know that we can safely go up to 1000 for our monogram and for our letter D. I'm just gonna go ahead and press the letter D. Now we have our placeholder lorem ipsum that is already filled the text, and then I'm going to click and drag in order to bring the letter in the center of the artboard. You can also use the align options, which you can find under the properties panel, in order to align it to the center horizontally and vertically, respectively, to the artboard, of course. Fantastic. So let's keep going here and let's find a font that it will inspire to create our monogram. I have a particular font in mind, but you can go ahead and explore all the beautiful fonts that are available with our amazing fonts.adobe.com, our font library. Go ahead and check fonts.adobe.com if you want to have a full experience, but don't forget you can access the beautiful integration within the app. So you can explore all the fonts available in your machine, but also you can select on find more, and by doing so you will access the entire library, so you can search, browse, preview and activate your font right away while in app. So it looks like mine is taking a second to load. Here it is. All you have to do is to hover on the font that you want to see in order to have a little bit of a look at the fonts that are here. And then once you find a font that you like, This Asir looks really fun. I really like these Acme Gothic. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use these Acme Gothic extra wide. It looks really nice. So as you can see, is already has a tick next to the cloud, and I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in so you can see the difference. So the fonts that are already part of my library have a tick next to the cloud. That means that the font is already active in my machine. If the cloud doesn't have a tick, it will have an arrow once to hover onto it in order to download and activate the font, and the font will be automatically available throughout your apps. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the Acme extra white, Gothic extra white. Oh, we can also choose perhaps the regular. I'm going to go ahead and select the regular. So if you want to follow along, you can access this font already. Even if it's not part of your library, access the fonts library by selecting find more once you choose your character options. Perfect. And now it's time to transform our font into a shape so we can have some fun with it. In order to do so real quick, you can use the shortcut Shift Command O. There will be Shift Control O if you're working on a Windows machine, and we can see that the text point and the text box disappeared, and now our font became a shape. And the first thing I'm going to do here is to show you real quick the final result. So what we are aiming to do. I think it's very exciting to see what we're working towards, and hopefully the file is ready here. Here it is. So as I say, the theme is space, inspired by Sian Proctor, and here I've done and I've had a fun with creating different styles for this monogram. Of course, we can just, you know, hopefully get to the final point, but if not, we're going to try to do as much as possible, and I'm going to post these on our amazing community Discord channel so you can go ahead and experiment. But this is just to show you that you can take your design further and further with Illustrator. So let's go back to our starting point, and let's go ahead by starting from our first exercises, which is to use the blend tool. We've been using the blend tool in other challenges, but today we're going to be using it by creating different steps. So go ahead and hold the Alt key while you click and drag the letter D in order to create a duplicate. And then let's start to apply color. And talking about color, we have this lovely palette which is inspired by the color that I lifted from the picture that I've seen here and many pictures that I found of Sian Proctor. So there is a lot of, you know, she's a geologist, so we have a lot of different materials related to earth, but also space, and orange has always been around the space environment, and that's so important when you can create a monogram, especially if it has to represent your brand. You really want to incorporate as many elements that are connected to your brand. So you have two options. You can either use the eyedropper tool by pressing the letter I on your keyboard, and the eyedropper tool will be activated, so you can select the letter that you wish to color, and then you can just simply apply the color. Or another way is to go ahead and select all the color swatches that we have available, and then head to the Windows the window menu to bring up the list of panels, and from here you can go ahead and select swatches. The swatches panel will pop up. So with your palette and with your shapes with a different color palette selected, all you have to do is to click on this little folder. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it properly. So this little folder will allow you to create a new color group. Once you click on it, a new panel, a new dialog box will pop up. You can give it a name. I'm going to call it Sian because it's inspired by our Sian Proctor. And make sure to click on selected artwork. So you want to have these options selected, so you will be able to lift the color from the artwork that you have in your selection, and then press on OK. And you will see right away that we have our color palette. I'm going to click and drag to bring the panel out so we can actually see that we have all the color relative from this color palette. Another step we can also do is to select the top pop-up menu and then select all the unused color, and then you can simply click on the bin icon in order to delete it. So we can just focus on the colors that we would like to use. And then from here, you can go ahead and choose any color from your color palette to use it for your letters. Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this letter D to the top by selecting it and using the shortcut Command Shift right bracket. That will be Control Shift right bracket if you're working on a Windows machine. And then we can go ahead and select both letters by clicking and dragging onto them. And then we're going to go ahead and use the blend tool. So that's the icon that represents the blend tool inside our toolbar, or you can use the letter W to activate it right away from your keyboard. Fantastic. Now with the blend tool selected, I'm going to first click on the first letter and then on the second one, and right away we have a letter in the middle, which is not only a letter that is exactly in the middle between the two letters that we have blended, but also as a color which is exactly midpoint between the two colors that were selected. That's absolutely mind-blowing, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I go ahead and choose a different color for our blend, we can go ahead and see that the actual color will change. Let's go ahead and change one of the color of our group. So as you can see, if I change the color of either the top or the bottom letter, the blend will also change. You will see that the color in the middle is always connected to the color of the two blend. But let's bring it back to our blue. I just wanted to show you because now we're working with the same tints, so having different shade of blue, maybe you thought that it just, you know, creating a monochromatic effect. No, it works with even different shades. It just creates this beautiful blend with color and with different steps. Now if you do not see the D in your options, all you have to do is with the blend selected is to head to the blend tool, double click on it, and from here you'll be able to select specified steps. And here you can choose as many steps as you want to fill your selections. And also something else that you can do is to move your letters anywhere you want, and you will see that that will also change the blend. So this blend is live. You can change it and you can move it around as much as you want to create your desired effect. And I'm quite happy with this effect that we have here. I like it very much. You can choose whichever you want. In this case, I have 2 shades of blue, and I have also 3 steps. So the steps, remember, are the one in between. So of course, in total, we will have 5 different shapes because I started with 2, which is the top and the bottom shapes. And you can, and anytime, if you perhaps want the bottom one to become on top, use the shortcut that I've used before by double clicking inside the blend to enter isolation mode. So you can enter the group of the blend and then select either the bottom or the top, depending which one you want to change, and just simply use the shortcut Control Shift right or left bracket. The right bracket will allow to bring it to the top. The left bracket will bring it to the bottom. Of course, if you're using Windows and not a Mac machine, Control instead of Command, that will activate your shortcut. So it's Control or Command Shift and then the left or the right bracket. Fantastic. I'm quite happy with this creation. All I'm going to do now is add to the align options under my properties panel, and then from here I'm going to align it relatively to the artboard, and I'm going to align it to the center horizontally and also vertically, so I know that my shape is now at the center. And then I can use the Option and Shift key while clicking and dragging in order to create and enlarge the shape. We can stretch it or make it smaller as much as we want here, so we can go ahead and make it bigger. And the reason why I'm asking you to also hold the Alt key is because with the Shift key we make sure that we do not distort it. So look what happens if I don't hold the Shift key, it will all be distorted. But when we also hold the Option key, we will maintain it also consistently, and we will stretch it or change the size also respectively to the center of the original image. Perfect. Once you're happy with your design, we can go ahead into our layers, and we can start by placing things in the right place, because that's also very useful when we have a lot of layers. So in this case, we have our effect with our letter that is here, but I really want to bring it down into my graphic. So how do I bring the blend into graphic? Well, that's really simple. You can see that already Illustrator has named our blend items is grouped and inside a group that is already called blend. So that's already done. All we'll have to do is to click and drag it inside the graphic. You will see that the color of the layer also reflects on the color of the bounding box, so it let us know right away in which layer is located. And now we can select the background tool, and also we can choose our draw mode by choosing draw behind. And I'm going to press the letter M in order to activate the rectangle tool, which is also available inside your toolbar. And then I'm going to click once while I intersect the artboard over here. You will see there's smart guides, will show you smart guide. It always sounds like I say smart guys. There's smart guide that will come up with the word intersect. Once you click, you will have the rectangle dialog box, and all I have to do is to enter the size of our square. We know that is a 1080 by 1080, then click on OK, and we have a perfect square that match our artboard and is also aligned horizontally and vertically to the center of the artboard. Perfect. I'm going to go and select a darker color to create this bold contrast. Fantastic. So now we can focus on adding all the elements that will make this monogram stand out. So let's go ahead and see if there is any questions in the chat. It looks everyone is just saying hello and enjoying in here. Thank you so much. Again, for those that are just joining right now, make sure to jump on behance.net/live so we'll be able to follow the stream together here, and I'll also be able to read your questions and say hi to you. But let's keep going. So as we said, we can now lock our background by simply selecting our background layer, and you can see that I probably jump back into my graphics. That's the beauty of naming your layers correctly, so you know where things go. I'm going to go ahead and click the background inside the background, and I noticed that right away because, as I mentioned before, the outline of the graphic is red. So as you can see, the background light is red, and I know that that's what I don't want. I wanted to make sure that it's inside the background. So what I've done is to simply drag it inside the background layer, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it so I know that it is now ready and locked. And then I'm going to head back to my graphics layer. Remember, you need to make sure that you click on a layer that is not locked in order to add any other elements, because a locked layer will not allow you to draw. So if you ever see any problems to draw or to add any elements to your design, it's probably because you're trying to draw on a layer that is locked. And now I'm going to start by using simple shape, and I'm going to start to decorate my design like I've done in the one before in the example. All I've done here is literally just created some circle and some dots to recreate a little bit of a star environment or a space environment. And again, you can create the dots of any sizes you want. I recommend you to zoom in. The beauty of zooming in, and Illustrator really allows you to have a crisp view no matter how much you zoom in, is because you can really start to create so many different details. And I found that that's really beautiful. Create lovely details and lovely small illustration, and that's why I recommend you to zoom in and then in order to add these lovely details and shapes of any size. Fantastic. You can go ahead and create as many as you want, and all I'm doing here is simply holding the Alt key while clicking and dragging in order to add this random composition of stars inside the letter D. And I kind of like the fact that it's just within the letter instead of the entire background. I just think it makes it a little bit more unique. Now, with just a few more minutes, I want to show you another trick that I've used for my other letter to give it a bit more of that three-dimensional look. All I've done is to select my pen tool, and I started by intersecting the anchor point of the letters here, and then moving along. I've just created a shape that goes around my letter D, just like so. And again, that's a very random shape that I draw towards the side that it comes out, almost to create this 3D effect. And then what I'm going to do is to double click inside my blend to make sure to select the first letter. That's the one that I'm looking for, and press Command C to copy it. Then I'm going to double click outside the isolation mode, outside our blend, in order to exit the isolation mode, and press Command F to paste it in front. I'm going to make it of any other color just to make sure that we see the distinction here. Then hold Shift and click on the other shape that you have selected. And now with the lovely shape builder tool, we can go ahead and select areas of the image that we wish to select. And actually, I'm going to go ahead here and select the bottom layer as well. We need the bottom as well. So double click again to enter the isolation mode, Command C, and then Command F to paste. It doesn't matter the order. All we need just to have the shapes back together, so we can use the shape builder tool in order to create this 3D effect, this shape that is over here and overlaps the other shapes, and then we can hold the option key to delete any other area that we do not want. So in this case, all these other area and all these other shapes that we do not need, we can just simply click and drag on them in order to delete them, or you can just click and drag over to delete the shapes that you don't want. Fantastic. So here we created this little 3D effect really quickly. And what I've done before, just, you know, if you have some issues with the shape here, you can always enter the direct selection tool to edit the shape of each corner point, of each anchor point. So you can go ahead and select the anchor point one by one and move it around, or even faster, you can create some fun shapes like the clouds that I used before using simple shapes like a rectangle. So just press the letter M to access the rectangle tool, and then from here you can maybe give it some smooth corner, just like so, and then using the option key, that's how I create clouds. It's so super easy. Just create some copies of your little cloud, and then you can change their size by clicking and dragging on the corner of the bounding box. That looks like a pretty cloud to me. And then simply hold the shift to select all the shapes, and you can use again either the shape builder tool or the pathfinder tool and select and drag in order to make this shape one. I'm gonna make it white and bring it to a foreground, and hopefully it turns white. If we select the white color, perfect. So you can use tricks like that with different shapes and different, you know, maybe a star, maybe a planet. If I show you the final that I created before, you can have fun and add as many elements, in this case related to shape. Or if you're creating it for your own brand, just focus on whatever are the elements that are related to your industry and to your product, to your services, in order to really make sure that these monogram will stand out and will represent where your brand stands for. So in this case, we are celebrating Sian Proctor. We're celebrating space and everything that is earth and space. So and you add as many details as you want. Of course, what I've done here also is created a version with strokes. You can add stroke by heading to the properties panel. Unfortunately, it's pretty much time to go. I have 1 minute to show you how to export it. I'm going to go ahead and export these middle versions. First, I believe I need to give it an artboard. So I'm going to go ahead and select on the artboard tool and click on the main outward rectangle to create a new artboard. Then Option Command E or Alt Control E to access the export for screen. Select whichever one you want, and then make sure that you select a location inside your machine and open it after export, and select Export Artboard, and you will see that right away your design is ready to be shared with the world. Remember, if you want to share it on your Instagram, the hashtag is 36 days of type, but most importantly, don't forget to share it into our lovely Discord community under the challenge channel. Here you'll be able to receive feedback and ask any question. We have all the wonderful mentors that are there to help you out. Again, all you have to do is to drag your image or click on the plus icon and then select and write anything you want, and then press return in order to share it. And you will see right now we have 2,000 people plus all the wonderful moderator and mentor there to help you out, so you can share your design. You will see that there are many other designs. You can also share your input for other people and to help other people. That's a safe community. As Adobe Live, I say that all the time, we are here always to learn together. I'm gonna jump back into Discord as soon as we finish this stream in order to share more version of this challenge, but I hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna catch tomorrow at the same time, 11:30 Pacific time, and now unfortunately it's time to go. For me, but you, stay tuned on Adobe Live, behance.net/live. There is so much fun coming up, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.